What's going on? I'm Vince Wolfram,
And I'm Dylan Cardwell, and welcome back to another episode of Big Talk.
where we take small talk to the next level across the worlds of sports, lifestyle, and everything else under the sun. Another day, another episode. Dylan's back. He wasn't with us last time, but he's back. The big man has returned. Dylan, how are we doing, big fella?
Yeah, doing great. I'm doing great, but I'm doing better now. My boy Lior's in our attendance.
Joining Big Talk today is a guest Auburn basketball fans admire. His percentage is higher, his story inspires, and he can actually make, build, and play the guitar by the campfire. If he checked in the game, it's an automatic 3 points, a defensive Terminator. 24 in the orange and blue, a microwave shooter. We call him the Bermanator.
Got Lior, two-time champion, one-time SEC regular champion, and one-time SEC tournament champion. Lior, how you doing today, gang?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on, man. Let's just start off the gate hot, man. Let's take us back all the way to senior year of Mountain Brook. Tell us about your journey coming into Auburn and kind of pretty much how you got to where you are today. I know it's a broad question, but I'm very interested to see, did you think that as a senior in high school at Mountain Brook, in the cold slums of Mountain Brook, did you think that you would be the Lior Berman that everyone, the crowd favorite, everyone loves today?
Yeah, it's actually funny. After my senior year of high school, I was thinking am I just gonna go to college, be a regular student, or am I gonna continue the game of basketball? It didn't take me long to decide that that's what I wanted to do, and was fortunate enough to get a spot on Auburn basketball. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go for a while, but ended up meeting with Coach Pro late in the summer, and it just felt right. So, he told me I had a spot on the team, and so I took it. And since then, it's just been a great journey, working through each year. So yeah, it's been good continuing the journey.
And what a lot of people don't know is for about 4 years, you were one of our top two hardest workers on the team. Where did that work ethic, where did you when did you find that work ethic, and how did you kind of just adjust over the years becoming, like I said, Lior Berman today?
Yeah, I'd always say, I had a pretty good work ethic in high school. I worked hard, but it wasn't until I got to college where I was like, I gotta get a lot better if I want to, help the team, if I want to have a chance to play. So I really think it started by just, that freshman year, seeing the seniors, what how much it meant to them. And I knew I wanted to, contribute eventually. So I just had to figure out, what I needed to do to, have a chance. I had to get faster. People's hands are way faster. I had to get a better handle. I had to learn how to shoot farther away so I could get my shot off, just things like that. Just learning each year, stacking things on each other. And I just think through consistency, that was important to me so I could always be right and ready.
Yeah, and that player development has been insane. People don't know, but Lior Berman was a four-man in high school, undersized four-man, and now you are a two guard. So what a jump! What a jump!
You said it took you to get to college to realize that you needed to take your work ethic to the next level, but your high school team, it was no joke. You guys were state champions, played with guys that are currently in the NBA. Talk about the competition you had in high school with a competitive coach, with a competitive team in a competitive league.
Yeah, I mean, high school, I was fortunate to play under Bucky McMillan, a great coach. And, I like to say that, a lot of my work ethic came from that. He was really intense. Our practices were hard, just running up and down, but just more mentally, can you keep going longer than your opponent? Just keep hitting them. Things like that. So, yeah, I was fortunate enough to play with some great teammates and play on some great teams. We won 3 state championships, so that was awesome. So yeah, we definitely played some great competition, traveling some tournaments like City of Palms and things like that. So yeah, there was some good competition then too. So yeah, definitely, that's a good point.
Yeah, because when you said that, I was like, well, he did have guys in the NBA on his high school team. So I wonder
Yeah.
what the competition was like then, but you bumped it up. And obviously you were looking sort of all over the board at colleges. Coaches were coming to you saying Division II, like high Division II, low Division I. What was it that stuck out most about Auburn? Why did you end up picking Auburn as the school that you were going to go play at?
Yeah, so I had some D2 interest and D3. That was a lot of my interest. Didn't really have too much D1 um, options, but I always liked watching Coach Pearl, his passion and just like how he cares for the game, and something about it was appealing to me, and so I was just like, I want to have a chance, So I talked to my high school coach, and he set some things up. So I just went there, with open mind, and um, yeah, just meeting with Coach Pearl and Stephen Pearl. I remember it was me and my parents, and we just met with them for like an hour. If like it was just a long meeting, and it just felt right. Like as soon as I left, like on the way back, I was like, yeah, that's definitely where I want to go. So that and just the education of Auburn, how it is as a school, just made me feel like it was the best decision.
And there are a lot of high school players that were probably in similar spots to you, that had the D2, D3 interest, but obviously whose goal was to play Division One. Talk about the walk-on spot, because that's a thing that I feel like can be misunderstood in a lot of different contexts, like because everybody wants to be that walk-on that plays for their
Yeah.
hometown school or the school in their state. But walk-ons, like, tell me about your experience as a walk-on and really what it entailed.
Yeah, so coming out of high school, where I would, start and play, and then go into college where I came on as a walk on, I kind of had to change my mindset.
Probably weird.
Yeah, so it was a challenge at first, but I was also just happy to be at Auburn. It was a great school, great team that I was on my freshman year. But really, I was just focusing on trying to make the team better and doing what I can, in practice, trying to emulate a player who we're going to play, and just little things like that. So always in the back of my head, I'm like eventually I want to play, but I was okay with just trying to help the team in any way as possible. And that's something that you kind of have to take as a walk on. And through that process, you get better as a player too. So you just kind of got to use everything to your advantage, take all the opportunities, learn as much as you can. Because, eventually it should pay off if, you keep consistent.
And speaking of opportunity, you had your opportunity come that sophomore year, that junior year, uh, 2022. Tell us about that the year of the Bermanator. I started, obviously St. Louis, you got hot, but even before that, Bahama League. I
Yeah.
mean, just cooking Syracuse and locking up their best players, like that's a testament to Lior Berman and his hard work. But tell us your mindset going into that game and pretty much like how that kind of paid dividends in the end, and was you boosting your confidence and stuff like that? Because you was clipping it up. You had about 8 points. You're pretty much one of our leading scorers, and
Yeah.
in God.
That was awesome. Sophomore I played a little, but junior year, in that non-conference schedule, is when I got to play a lot or more than I had been playing, and that was awesome. Because that team was great. We had some, just crazy plays and everything like that, and I just feel like everyone on that team was, confident in each other, and we were, making the right plays, and we're getting hot. So, just feeding off other guys' energy, and as well as myself, just it was a great feeling because I was like, all right, things are working. Things pay off. The hard work's been going, and I remember I hit like a corner three. I just let it fly, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's good. It's
Bottoms.
good. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely awesome. Awesome feeling to just have things pay off, and it was just a great time.
And like I said, your confidence has just shot up over the years. But what were you thinking? We had sidestep three off the backboard. Like where were you going with that? What was
I
your game?
don't. I think I had just hit one, and I was like, I'm feeling good, and I did a step back, and I thought that I had enough space, and then the guy contested me, so I was like, well, this is it. It's either gonna go in or not, and I just let it fly, and uh, I might have called bank, I might have not, I can't remember.
And,
But
and
yeah, I was just feeling good.
It's a microwave right there.
yeah,
Heat
Mike,
check.
it takes one shot to heat up, and he hit probably one of the clutchest shots of that 2021, 2022 year when we played St. Louis. Like, tell us
Yeah.
about that, staying right and staying ready. We usually played you when we were up a bunch or down a bunch or whatever, but this time you were in when the game was on the line for one of the first times in the season. You came up clutch and hit a big go ahead three against St. Louis in the pretty much bottom of the second half. Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
So I remember I was playing more of that game, and I was feeling pretty confident. And then, towards the end, I felt like I had my rhythm. I'd been in, I felt like I had my rhythm. Wind drives baseline. And I just remember thinking, I was like, I'm in the corner. I was like, there might be a chance that he's gonna swing this to me. So I try to, calm myself. I remember he passed it to me, and in my head, I was like, all right, this is it. You've done the shot before, and just take your time. And I caught it, and I didn't rush it, or I just saw through the follow through, and it felt good when it came off. I was like, that's going in. So that was a great feeling. I remember that game. That's definitely one of my favorite games for sure.
That game, that season, that team. Obviously, you ended up finding your place on that team, but overall, that was one of the best teams in Auburn history, Auburn basketball history, reaching number one. Talk about that, like that part of the season where you guys were just literally atop the basketball world, and how that felt to you as a player who, I guess, was weaning their way into getting some PT.
Yeah. So yeah, just being like the number one team, like, you never really think that, and then it happens, and it's just like, wow, like we're the number one team in the country, and just like, Auburn fans are already, so passionate and into it. But when we got to number one, Dylan remembers we'd walk into a restaurant and people would just start clapping, and it
Yeah,
was
standing
it
ovations.
was it was great while it lasted. It's just really cool just to, say that you're on the number one team at one point, and that was just a good team. Those players are just fun to play with,
Yeah,
definitely.
that was probably my favorite year. On like outside of the success that we had, but like the memes that came with it. We had the peak, the karate, hitting the karate, the
Yeah.
crank, and we had the memes and everything. What were you like? What? Where did Bermanator come from? Like, did that just? Do you know the originator of Bermanator? Or that just?
Yeah, Mr. Jeff Shear, I think, said it first, and then after that, it kind of started spreading a little. And now I just kind of hear it every once in a while when I'm walking in Auburn. It's funny.
So wrapping up that year, obviously we win the SEC championship. The postseason doesn't end like we wanted to, but that summer you had a chance to play for Maccabi USA. What was that like playing in Israel and being in Israel for the summer, and then experiencing an Israel trip with your team later on? Like that's the once lifetime opportunity to be
Yeah.
where your ancestors are from for like what 2-3 months.
Yeah, so that was a really cool, just like how that worked out, where I got to go before Auburn came over for like a month, and then Auburn came over. But yeah, just playing the Maccabi games was awesome. Anytime you get to represent your country, it's an honor. So that was a really cool experience. And we won the gold, which was really cool against France. So we definitely couldn't lose to them. So that was awesome. And and yeah, what was really cool was, in that time, there was about 5 days before Auburn came over and when the Maccabi games ended, so I just stayed and I got to spend time with my family, my grandparents who I live there, and my aunt and uncle, which is really cool. And then what was also really cool was when y'all got there, I'd already been there, I was situated, and I was just ready to go, just to just like show y'all everything, and getting to see y'all experience it for the first time was pretty cool because I already been a few times, but that was definitely like a pretty cool experience.
Did you get to play like a tour guide kind of role there with the team coming over? You already knew the spots, you knew the place.
Yeah, especially the food. I was like, nah, just try it. It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
I got
hummus,
some people.
hummus.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody on that hummus.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good,
Mhm.
great food. Great sights to see.
I know I'm putting you on a spot here, but like, what was one of your favorite or funniest memories, from that trip? I think one of mine that just brought up a lot is when we were eating on that rooftop, and then out of nowhere, Katie texts us and be like, "Man, I left him on the bus," and he fell asleep on the bus. Like that was probably one of the most funniest trips because, we had a funny security guard named Isaac. We had a really good time with each other, and like it was just a lot going on at once. But like it was a safe environment and we just had a really good time. So like what was your kind of like favorite memory? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think it had to be the Dead Sea because I had already experienced it a
Mm,
few times with the mud and everything, but just seeing everyone, chasing each other, throwing the
yeah,
mud. I think yeah, some people were having some mud fights or something like that.
yeah. Just
Seeing
chasing
everyone.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Al didn't want to have no mud on him, and his dad finally got him after like 20 minutes of chasing him.
That was funny. So, oh
Boiling
yeah,
hot, boiling hot.
yeah, it's super hot.
And then the games themselves, obviously Auburn, they went and you were playing against pro teams from out there. That level of competition, again, it's another step up because you played at the elite high school level, then you're the #1 team in the country, and then now you're a college team playing at a pro level. That had to be a good experience for you too to get in and
Yeah.
play against those guys.
Well, yeah, fortunately for me, I got injured one of the last games, Maccabi game, something I got knee to my calf and I just couldn't play, which was not fun. But even just, seeing like us playing the national team, just like that level of basketball. And, we competed good that game. We were young, and so it was a great test for us. But yeah, just seeing, that competition I was playing was pretty cool. I wish I would gotten a chance, but
Tell us
just
about that environment from your point of view. Like that environment was rocking. They had horns and trumpets going off. Like tell
yeah.
tell the people that don't know, like put everybody on to Israel basketball and how actually serious it is. It's a huge thing over there.
Yeah, it's the fans, they love basketball over there. They're very passionate, It's I'd like to play over there. That's one of my goals. So I was watching some games on this streaming site.
You were on Stream East. Don't cover it up. I know
No, no, no.
it.
I don't think they cover the Israel games, but I was watching them and just like I had to turn it down because all you hear is just the fans, beating on drums and horns the whole entire game, which is
Yeah.
super cool.
They had chants going, and they had this dude named Denny Avdia who played for the Wizards at the time. He's in Trailblazers now, but every time he dunked or he scored or he got in the game, anytime he blinked or breathed, he had this little theme music go off. It was like he's like a matador or something. It was like a little da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, he was a superhero out there. I never forget. I left the hotel we were staying at, and I walked outside, and there's a huge like truck, semi truck going down the street. And all I see, it's like a bag of chips, but on the bag of chips is him on the side of the truck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like he must be like LeBron James over here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
Yeah, that's it.
like, oh, I can't believe every time we fouled him, every time we breathed on him with a foul. So like, he's our most beloved basketball player, but Lior's coming for that spot next.
I think Auburn, they treated you like Dylan's talked about this guy. Like when you came back, every time you checked in the game, it was like the volume was elevated. And for a guy that like started in a position, that's the coolest thing to me is that you started in a position where you were a walk-on, you were fighting for a spot, and then towards the end, your junior and senior years, like those were the minutes that you were getting and the reaction that you were getting.
Yeah.
What is that interaction and engagement and love from the Auburn fans? Literally every time you hit the scores table, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot, Auburn family, they're just they're awesome, and I just say, it was a great feeling, because, I knew those first years, I'm putting in the work and it's finally, paying off. Just getting to check in and be on the court is, a really special experience. And, having the crowd into it, it's just great. It gives you a lot of confidence too. So, yeah, I'd just say it's a great feeling.
The point where the Auburn Arena hit the volume meter was Tennessee. When you got in at the end and you rose up and you did what you did, obviously we'll play the clip. Walk us through that moment when the roof came off of the
Yeah,
arena.
it's funny because like before the game, I was just thinking like, can't believe I've never gotten a dunk at Auburn, and that was a senior night, which is funny. So it took me all the way to senior night to get one dunk. Um, I just remember I was running down the court and KD makes this crazy save, I think, and then gets to Jay Will, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm next. And Jay Will throws it to me, and I remember I was right into the basket. I didn't like have a chance to dribble or anything, but I'm like I gotta try. So I just jumped as hard as I could, barely got it over the rim and hung on the rim. So yeah, it did get loud. I remember that. That was probably my favorite game. St. Louis was probably it, and then that probably topped it.
And that was fun for me because you see my excitement because like I was in disbelief only because he dunked it off vert. I don't think y'all know how impressive that is to be 6'4", 6'5", and dunking off vert, especially when my boy Lee, like, he probably in the game for like maybe a minute before that, and so it was just insane. But like people probably don't know, everyone should know. Leroy probably has like probably top 3 bounce in Auburn history, maybe top 4. But like he jumped pretty high, but I've never seen him just dunk it off vert. And so you can see my reaction from the bench. I'm like holding
Yeah.
there. No way he just dunked this ball off vert. And like I said, it's the loudest I've ever heard the arena get. I just wish he would have did that the year before because they probably would have nuked Neville Arena. If he would have did that the year before, they would have nuked Neville Arena. But man,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Lee, would you say that was the loudest you ever heard Neville Arena?
I'd say so. There's been some other dunks that have gotten pretty loud in there, but yeah, I feel like it was rocking pretty good. I like seeing like on the replay the reactions like Dylan, and then some of the fans they were just going crazy. It was pretty cool to see.
What are some other dunks that in your head stick out that took the roof off the place?
Uh, Dylan's got a few.
That's fair.
Jay Will has them all. Jay Will has probably
Jay
the top
Will.
5 dunks last season, which is crazy to even think about.
Jay Will's got some. Or freshman year, Jay Will off the backboard. That was crazy. Isaac
It's always
Okoro
see.
had some crazy ones.
Yeah.
Devin, yeah. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
been there's been a few.
The Cambridge one against Kentucky was a top one because that place was really, really rocking. And what comes to mind is the Jay Will windmill against Alabama last year. That one took the loud meter to a whole nother level, I thought.
It's
Yeah.
funny, like 2 out of the top 3 loudest dunks happen to be, the most generic dunks. Like Devin tripped on his dunk, and then Lior just like you said, barely got over the rim and it's loud as freaking there. But it's just a testament to Auburn. Like we're crazy about Auburn sports, and so
Yeah.
same.
From there, you're going into your senior year. I guess it's more your super senior year, 5th year.
Yeah, fifth year.
When did you graduate? Did you graduate before your 5th year, or did you
Yeah,
graduate?
yeah.
You
I
did.
already graduated.
My boy
Oh, okay,
smart.
so you had a cool year then to just
Yeah, I was just
hoop.
taking what I needed to take for classes and to be able to play and just was able to hoop.
After all, this is an academic build podcast, bunch of academics talking. For those who are worried about your major and what you're interested in off the court, would you like to describe sort of what you studied
Yeah,
and
I was a industrial design major, or product design major, I guess is another name for it. So that's cool because I always like to, draw, make things, and solve problems. So that was really cool. Got to do some cool projects for that. I'm not too sure what I want to do with it yet. I'd still like to, continue, my basketball career after college. And then when that ends, I'll have to figure something out.
yeah, first guitar and then maybe some rapping with the guitar. We know if there's an open spot at a baseball game and they need the national
Oh yeah.
anthem played, we know a guy. Talk about how cool that was because everybody saw you out there
Yeah, that
on
was
the
pretty
guitar.
cool. I had to practice a lot because I was so nervous at first. I was like, oh wow. So yeah, like 2 weeks before that, I'm just like an hour a day playing it over and over and over. But then yeah, it was really cool, an honor to be able to do that. Luckily it did not mess it up. I was worried, but it went well. And yeah, it was fun. Super cool.
Yeah, we got
Didn't
the side quest King Dylan on here, so I
oh
know that's been a side quest for you is being in a
he's a
band, playing the guitar.
he's even bigger side quest. He built his own guitar. Like he built his whole guitar, and like I remember I was on the plane, and I'm like, why does he have a guitar like on his computer? Why is he editing the guitar? And for a senior project, like
Yeah, that
he
was
made
way
it.
before. Yeah, that was when I was
Yeah,
planning it out. I didn't know what I was gonna do, so I was on the plane trying to maximize my time.
crazy work.
Thanks,
And
Dylan.
so senior year, obviously, I mean last year, like what's your mindset going into your last year? Your 5th year, last possible year on the plains. What's your mindset going into that Baylor game, obviously, but just the rest of the year and just setting the tone and kind of leaving it all out there because, like you said, you work so hard for opportunity and you kind of want to get taped for that next level, whether that be in the NBA or in Israel. Like, tell us
Yeah,
about your mindset and your work ethic and how to kind of take a leap.
yeah. So after my senior year, I was kind of deciding if I wanted to, come back or maybe try my game overseas, and I just one more year at Auburn, I seemed like a good deal to me. So COVID, luckily, I was able to have one more year, and it just made sense. I wanted to, try to make some more history with the team. And, I already graduated, and COVID allowed me to, take just a few classes so I could really just focus on basketball and, just see how it's like to, have that pretty much as your job. So, yeah, I was able to even work a little extra more that year. And it was a great year. It was the last year. Had some great memories, some good games, and fortunately got hurt at the end, but I think it was all worth it.
We would like to touch on that a little bit. Obviously,
Yeah.
Mississippi State, you go up, come down, and it didn't look right. And we could tell
Yeah.
by the look on your face that was the case. Walk us through that play. What sort of goes through your mind? Because I know those moments they can spiral so quickly and seem like they go so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
So just describe that.
I remember a few plays before, I was playing well, had some nice baskets, and I was just feeling really good. And I drove, did a normal move like I was gonna do, and I guess my feet were too wide or something. And knee just kind of gave out, and yeah, I knew right away that I did something. I was on the ground, I was hurt, and then I was really angry because I was just like, "Yep, that's gonna have to be fixed." So yeah, that was tough. Luckily, I had my family there, teammates, support. So was able to get through that. But yeah, not the most fun at that moment.
Yeah, certainly. And you could tell by the look on your face when you slapped the floor. It was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
I
one
was
of
more
those
just kind of
ones.
mad.
Yeah, and then but from there you've been in the recovery process. When I talked to you, what, a couple of months ago, you were about a month out from your surgery.
Yeah,
Where are you now? How do you feel? How's the recovery process coming for you?
yeah. So it's been about 4 months and 2 weeks. So like the first 3.5 or whatever months are just in the rehab, just doing leg lifts, leg raises, all these different things, which was definitely a grind to get through. But luckily now I am more cleared to start working out on the court. So I've been able to, shoot and do workouts, not at full speed, but anything's nice for a change now. And I'm starting to get in the weight room, lifting with our strength coach, Coach D, just trying to, get my strength back, and things are feeling really good. I'm feeling really good about it at this point.
And then moving forward, obviously the future's uncertain. We got a couple more weeks here in Auburn, and then like tell the Auburn family what's next and kind of how they can be supporting you or praying for you over these next couple of months of your life where you try to figure out that next level of playing professionally.
Yeah, so I'm planning on staying here till late August maybe. Just finish training, get to where at a point where I feel solid enough where wherever I can go, I can finish it out and continue. My plans are to play in Israel. Haven't signed with like a team yet, but I'm working on that right now. So hopefully I'll know that soon, and then I'll leave in September. And yeah, from there, I'll have to, continue to get back healthy. I won't be completely healthy when I get back, but I'm hoping after a few months being there, get acclimated, get my game back, and try to make some history there.
Yeah, and how does that process of overseas is like Israeli looking at you and scouting you? How does that? I know you got a mixtape for my boy G off, but down pretty much for those who don't know, like understand, help us
Yeah.
understand.
So I had to sign with an agent. I knew him before. He lives in Israel, so he is helping me. He is basically presenting me to these teams and showing, a little bit of my portfolio, highlight tape, what I've done. And then based off of that, they might show some interest. And so, yeah, that's basically how it works. You got to sign with an agent, and then they kind of present you to the teams. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure the Auburn family will be behind you, not only in Israel, but wherever you go from there, because you're the coveted Lior Berman. How could we not?
Kind, you're too kind.
So now we'll go into everyone's favorite segment of our show, the mailbox questions, which are sort of quick, fun questions from the Big Talk community to you. So we'll start. The first one is, where did you get number 24? Was it random? Was it inspired by someone, by a player, by a family member? Sort of how did you get 24 and what's the story behind it?
Well, I was 12 and starting off in college, and then Zeb Jasper came and what?
Zeb Jasper.
My boy Zeb Jasper came and he was 12, and I was like, 12 it's a good number, but it wasn't my favorite number. My favorite number is 32, but it's retired at Auburn. So I had to make a decision. And 24 is a cool number. Kobe wore that obviously, and I was just thought it was a cool number.
Not a bad choice. I like
Yeah,
it.
not much to it.
Yeah, it's just simple. So it was the one that was given to you, so you just took it.
Yeah.
And I know you've talked to me about this before, but one of my favorite stories that you told is about the Breakfast Club when you guys used to go in and shoot. So I want to ask, give me your top 5 shooters at Auburn that you played against in your time that you've worked out with, maybe guys that were part of that Breakfast Club. But give me your top 5 shooters. You can give honorable mentions if you don't want to be the guy that gives the top 5.
Yeah. Let's see. Top 5 shooters time at Auburn. I'd definitely say Jabari. He's, pretty dialed in. Um, it's a tough question. I'm going through everyone. I'm gonna throw my boy Chandler Lefford in.
I was gonna say if you don't throw Chan in there, I was about to just log out of here because Chan is probably the best shooter in Auburn history.
Yeah, Chandler, you just got it. He just can go in the gym wherever and just shoot them. Got to show that a few times at his career at Auburn. Just let it go. So I definitely say him. I'd put myself up in there, definitely. Um, let's see, Win. I'd put Win in there. He's got some range.
We'll
Definitely
go win.
he's hit some big shots. Um, let's see, number 5. Let's see who else we got, Dill.
Yeah, well, like I'm just thinking about our years together. You played with Samir Dowdy. You played with
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
yeah
Samir.
Samir. You gonna put him over Jamal Johnson, the GOAT?
Jamal is OTT over the top.
Yeah, OTT.
Samir was pretty dirty. He hit that shot where he turned around. He shot it and turned around before it went in. So, to have the confidence to do that, I want to say I'm putting anyone in particular order. I would just say those 5 guys come to mind.
Those are the top 5. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. That's Jabari obviously was on that USA select team playing against the Olympic team, balling out. When I was telling Lior before we got on here, I just saw him in Lexington at the TVT, the basketball tournament. He was going off, doing his thing for Team War Ready, which unfortunately let the game against the herd go, but that's besides the point. Dylan, you got any mailbox questions for Lior before we let him hop?
Yeah, this is my own mailbox question. So
I'm nervous.
You got Hibachi Lee, Maccabi Lee, Chan Lee, Bermanator, like the Dreidel, the Menorah, like all these nicknames. The Hebrew Hammer, like what's your favorite nickname that you've been given here at Auburn? Because you've been given a lot. I think you probably have the most nicknames in Auburn history.
I definitely say off the top of my head the Bermanator, just because that's one that really stuck. But I also like the Dreidel too, because I like to have some good footwork sometimes, and that one gives me a good laugh.
The Dreidel, man, he coming.
Yeah.
The Dreidel.
Yeah, no, those 2 I'd say.
Man, Leo, we appreciate you for your time, man. You know what I'm saying? You my boy. I'm just grateful to have had 4 long years with you, dog. So
I know it's been a pleasure.
yeah.
Appreciate you guys having me on here. I'd love to do it.
Definitely. We appreciate you taking the time. And for our viewers, you can find full episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts with clips on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube Shorts. Make sure you tune in for our next couple of episodes because we are going to get revved up again when we're back in Auburn in the fall. We've got football, and you know what that means. We're going to be talking a lot of college football. So stay tuned, stay with us, and make sure you keep up with our guy, 24, the Bermanator, as he takes the next steps in his basketball career. Lior, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.